Hi friends, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Actually, it is raining a little bit, but I love rainy days because I get to collect rain and I get to collect a lot of moisture in my soil. A lot of you ask me, how often do I water? And I often get the comment that says, your water bill must be so high. Well, to be honest, I actually don't water all that much because let me show you the systems I have put in place in order to have a very easy watering system in my garden. Let's start by showing you the gutter. The gutter here is connected to a pipe, and then this pipe I have made a trench, and then that water comes all the way over here and it goes into this trench. When this gets full of water, this whole trench over here becomes saturated with water, and you see I have raised beds on this side and that side. This year, to make it a little bit easier, I'm also going to dig a second trench here so both sides of the raised beds have a lot of water. And what I have done is, once I dig a trench, I add a lot of wood chips in here so they absorb a lot of water and they maintain the moisture in here. The next thing I do in order to keep my watering bill low is that I grow in raised beds, and you can see my raised beds are covered with mulch. These are leaves from all of my neighbors and my yard, and whenever I get a chance I put them through the lawnmower and I put them on top of the raised beds. Right now it doesn't seem like it's doing anything, but in the summer months when it's really dry, that mulch keeps the moisture in the soil and it keeps it protected from drying out too quickly. These beds are not on irrigation or anything, and I think I only water them once a month if it's really dry. I do water a lot when I make my first initial planting. So let's say I put my tomatoes and pepper plants in here, I will water that first day, and then I will water constantly, maybe every day for about a week. After the plants have established their root system, I don't water at all. But even then, when I have to water, I have rain collection systems, and let me show you what I do then. This is another gutter, and I have a trash can right here, and I also have a rain barrel. I took away the downspout and I replaced it with a corrugated pipe because this one I can move around, and you can see there's water coming out of here. So I have two barrels here, and this one stays full of water. So whenever I need to water, I have a watering can. I take water from here and I water these garden beds right here. I also, in the summer, keep a bucket over here to collect the extra water. And this is not the bucket I keep here. I usually keep a 35-gallon tub that collects water. So between these two things, I can have up to 150 gallons of water. I also have a ton of these 5-gallon buckets that I will refill and make sure that these are empty before a rainstorm. So I fill up all of my water buckets, that are like 20 of them or so, and I keep them around the yard, and then I collect a lot of water. But the next thing that you can see in my garden is a lot of wood chips. All my entire backyard has beautiful wood chips, and I think I have like 6 or 7 loads of wood chips that I got for free. There's an app called ShipDrop, and arborists need a place to dump their wood chips because they have to pay if they take them to the dump. But if they take them to your house, they only have to pay $20 to the app. So you can request free wood chips, and then you lay those wood chips down in the soil really thick, and those are like a sponge. They suck up all of the moisture, all of the rain, and they provide a lot of moisture for your soil, and they retain so much moisture. Here's a perfect example of a raised bed. There's no need to water in the winter, obviously, but in the summer you can see the effects a lot better. Right now I haven't had to water any of these garlics, and they are doing very well. And you can see how the mulch is protecting the soil. In the summer months, this will go down even more. So I will take all of this free leaves that I have laying around the garden, and then I'll put them on top of my plants to preserve some of the moisture. But sometimes you need a little bit of a hose in order to do a little watering. But that also has a method. Let me show you. I don't have any water access down here, but I've ran a long hose. And what I've done is this whole area here is on drip irrigation, and this little tubing here is in all the beds here, and I run it back and forth, and there is 3 sections of this, and I get plenty of water over here, and I don't have to water this very often. And here's a perfect example of how the wood chips will accumulate a lot of the water. You see here, water is starting to pool here. And then I have dug trenches, and the trenches happen to coincide with all of my raised beds. So I can move the trenches around in order to provide water to a spot. And this year I'm hoping to create like a little winding little river over here, because I probably will put in some raised beds in this area. In the summer months, I also have buckets that collect a lot of water, like this galvanized bucket. These can breed a lot of mosquitoes, but what I do is I buy these little mosquito dunks, and you put them on the water, and they provide this bacteria that kill all of the larvae from the mosquitoes. So that prevents mosquitoes in the yard. And this system right here is the easiest one that I have that manages itself. So I have two 55-gallon barrels, and then I have attached this little rain water collection system. You drill a hole into the gutter, and it has this little cup, and the water falls into the cup and then brings the water into the barrel. And right now the barrel is full. This one is full, but it has an overflow outlet right here, and it lets water out this way and fills the second one up. Once it's all full, the cup doesn't allow any more water because the water goes up to the cup, and then all the water just drains into the spout and then goes its normal route. Some areas of the yard don't have irrigation, and I don't have any rain barrels for them. So that's the front yard. And for that, I have special systems. And the very special system is just a sprinkler, and I put that on some milk crates, and I elevated about 3 feet off the ground, and then I set up a hose to it. And if I really need to water, which is maybe once or twice per month during the dry summer months, that's the only time I will water, I'll turn the sprinkler heads just before sunset, because I want the water to not evaporate. I know people say that you shouldn't water at nighttime, but I haven't had an issue watering at nighttime, because I know it will have enough time to sink into the ground before evaporating. So that's how I keep my garden water and my water bill low. I also don't know how they keep it so low. I actually don't pay all that much. I don't pay more than 50 bucks per month. So I'm lucky to live in a zone that gets quite a bit of rain, and the water bill is quite low anyways. When I first moved into this house, I had all these dreams about getting a huge, like 1,000-gallon tank, and I was going to put it right over here in the corner of this building. But then I did the math on it, and I think I ran the numbers, and it was going to cost me around $1,000 to get a collection system for the water. And after I ran the numbers for the $50 a month for the water, I just figured out that it was not feasible and it was not profitable to get that huge system. So instead, I opted to put in these smaller rain barrels, because they give me a little bit of assurance. I have about 200, 300 gallons worth. And in the future, if my water bill seems to go up, then I will definitely look into buying a huge tank and installing a proper rain barrel system. And that one, I want to put a little pump on it so that I can turn it on and I actually can water, hand water with a hose from it. Because these guys right here, you have to use a watering can to water. But actually, I don't mind that. It actually gets me out in the garden, and I can see very close to the plants and see what needs to get done. So what kind of systems do you have in your place to do watering? And this year I am going to be building some self-watering buckets, or self-watering containers out of 5-gallon buckets. So make sure you stay tuned, because that's going to be my next video, building those guys out. And those, you just fill up a water reservoir and you don't have to water them too much. So hopefully that improves my pepper production this year and my eggplant production. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you're subscribed. Also, please hit that bell notification so that you get notified when I put up new videos. And if you're watching this on Facebook, please make sure you hit follow and that you share this with your friends. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.